perfect time to tackle the white elephant that was in the room earlier on already, when we had the marketing trends and we didn't touch ChatGPT. I guess one of the main buzzwords this year. And yeah, so we hopefully will have a lively discussion on that topic. Perhaps we start with a very short introduction that the people know who sit here on the stage before we start into the panel. So Benji, you go first.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. I'm Ben. I've been working for the last 6 years in helping hotels leverage virtual assistants that you may know as chatbots to kind of automate customer interactions and transform conversations into bookings, okay? And today we will be discussing probably some of the impacts that ChatGPT can have on virtual assistants, among other things. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Christian. I'm working for the Schani hotels as a group manager for systems and integrations. In my previous jobs, I've installed multiple hotels with various PMS systems and have a deeply technical background overall.
Hi, my name is Tobias. I'm working as the Chief Commercial Mama at Big Mama Hotels, and I'm trying to give you a little outlook of what we're using ChatGPT for.
Hi, my name is Nick. I'm a founder of Chatlyn. We're a messenger marketing platform, also for hospitality. I'm in the software space for quite a long time, and as you said before, I sold my first company to Xing, but you don't find me on Xing anymore. And yes. Anyway. As the new company is named Chatlyn, ChatGPT is quite interesting for us as well. That's why I'm looking forward.
Yeah. So I think we fulfill the cliches with the entrance, like having 5 male people here and 3 of them pretty tech heavy. So the whole AI topic can get pretty tech heavy very fast, but I'll try to avoid that. And I think as a conversation starter, we start with Tobias. Because that's not as tech-heavy as we can get. To just give us a short overview how you are using ChatGPT, DALL-E, Midjourney, or whatever tools you use, and about your daily business.
All right. So at Big Mama Hotels, we have a really lean structure. Actually, we're only 2 persons in marketing, and one of them is me, and I'm taking care of some other topics as well. So we're trying to run those 3 hotels very efficiently and effectively, and ChatGPT is a great help for that, especially when we're looking at our website, where we're currently working on creating a blog for our hotel, but in a deeper sense, it's more about the destinations. And if I want to target the different groups that I want to address via our blog, ChatGPT helps me a lot with, for example, creating really to-the-point blog post, for example, really a clickbaiting blog post, if you will, when it goes about, Leipzig with family, the 3 top activities, and I'll ask ChatGPT to write this blog post for me. And of course, at the beginning, it's more or less very generic and very, things that you read everywhere in a style that you read everywhere. So what we've tried to do is teach ChatGPT, yes, it's very difficult for me, how we, as Big Mama, communicate with our guests, how our tone of voice sounds like. So I posted some of our copies into ChatGPT and let ChatGPT learn from that, and have now a bunch of blog posts that are going to go live in the near future, but we're currently collecting them for all of the destinations. So that is one use case for us. And additional to that, of course, it helps me if I have already taught ChatGPT how we speak with our guests, that I can now easily create, for example, landing pages. When it comes to groups, like group travels for schools, for example, which is one really big target group for our hotel in Berlin, where we do have a hybrid from hotel and hostel. So I've let ChatGPT basically create not only the copy, but also the style, or let me teach, or ChatGPT should taught me how to build a landing page, how to get a booking, or at least the request from a group, like with how should the call to action look like, what kind of pictures should I use to address this specific target group. And of course, ChatGPT doesn't really know what is our target group. I had to tell the AI who we want to address. I had to tell the AI what are the specific, what does this target group look like? And for us, it's just as a side note, we're looking at the sinus milieus, the adaptive pragmatic middle is our sinus milieu that we're especially looking into, and there's a lot of information about it available. ChatGPT knows already a lot about it, but I taught him more and more about it as well. So what I've done with that is getting not only a specific targeted copy for our website, but also how to make it look. And I'm now going to take this further and creating newsletters with this kind of technique to make use of it for the chat messages, for example, to make use of it for WhatsApp messages. However I want to use it, there's a big database already available for me in my tone of voice, basically my own little marketing helper, and with much less onboarding time than I used to have with other people.
Two questions.
Yes, both. So yes, there is. It's the same channel and the same account, and for each, I experiment a lot with prompts. So I now know exactly what I should paste in there in the beginning, in the very beginning. Basically, I do have my, I don't know, 2 pages long. It's the maximum of what I can paste into ChatGPT.
Just very briefly, because perhaps the one or other person in this room may not know what a prompt is. So we should try to avoid the more technical wordings. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So a prompt is basically if you write something into the chat with ChatGPT, what you want from the program, and you can also paste a lot of information in there. I don't know the maximum number of words you can post in there. However, I tried a lot with it, and now I do have my maximum amount, and I tell basically ChatGPT, you are this and that persona, or you are talking, we're Big Mama Hotels, blah, blah, blah. Here's some more information about us, about a target group, and I want you to do X, Y, Z in the next settings. So that's where I got my ideas from, basically, or that's where I experimented a lot. And this time I spent, a lot of hours basically trying out what makes a lot of sense. Now saves me days of work. Really days of work.
That would have been my question, like how much time did it take you to get the setup? And once you had the setup, how much time does it save in your daily business? Because that might be interesting for you guys to have a rough understanding what that means.
Well, I can't put it into real numbers, but it's just a rough number. Is so when I used to write blog posts, it took me a lot of time because I like to do them very precise and very good, learn about the destination, blah, blah. And basically it takes me not half an hour to get it all together, not only to write it basically, but to fact check it, to find the pictures, to put it into our CMS, and I'm done. And this is a blog post that's unique, and that's not only unique, it's also search engine optimized. And optimize for those keywords I want to address for this specific target group. And yes, it might seem interesting for the guests, but more it is a tool for me to address potential guests and to be found, well, not on the long tail, but on the middle tail, if you will, if that says anything to you guys in SEO terms.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So let's start with a more tech conversation. So Chris, perhaps with you.
Yeah, for sure. There's not such a deep usage at the Schani hotels with ChatGPT like for you with Big Mama. However, I find a really useful thing in the last 2 months. We just had faced some issues with our POS system in regards that we use a really old system and script-based posting to our PMS. And for whatever reason, there was a change in the Unicode that is used from our PMS. And therefore, I just used ChatGPT to correct the script in the POS system to post it correctly. That was break down in 2 different sections. First of all, I've corrected the Unicode that is used in the script, first of all. That helped for just 2 weeks, and then it's happened again. Well, there was another reason, and then I added a replacement in the script that replaced every German special characters with that English characters, that it's worked now. Really easy, but now the script is running and we can still usefully post things from the POS to the PMS. Yeah. That's all, nothing more.
Or perhaps a nice takeaway for you, that because most people, when we talk about ChatGPT, think in terms of marketing, things that you can see, like text, images, and so on, but that you can also use it for tech purposes, like running over a script, find errors or correct like the nice German special letters and stuff like that. So it's good to, if your tech people are not into that topic yet, it might be a good hint to tell them perhaps you start playing with ChatGPT. Benji, let's continue with you in terms of customer.
Okay, so just like we should kind of probably increase the scope because ChatGPT is only one of the faces of something bigger. Okay, so just if we discuss right now, like we see that there are some applications to create content, some applications to create like content that can be text, that can be programs, but actually ChatGPT is part of a bigger project that is called OpenAI. Okay, and the idea is that ChatGPT has great usage for people, like because we're all speaking about it right now. But we also have applications in like the day-to-day communications that we have with like brands, because right now it's us, hotels, or whoever communicating with a system to obtain a service, but it's also like a very strong natural language recognition system that can be used to boost like existing systems that are known as virtual assistants or chatbots. Okay, so what I see behind ChatGPT is that people are changing the way they consume information, and because we are using mobile, and very soon we will be using other kind of technologies that will be even more immersive. You know, like right now we're moving from searching information to interacting with it. So we need to be very good at understanding what the customer wants and delivering it to him. Okay, so far, like the virtual assistants were very good. They could reach like 90–95% accuracy. Okay, but there were still like these 5% that needed to be handled by a human. Okay, so I believe that with ChatGPT, and that we are trying to test, okay, when a normal, let's say, artificial intelligence that would be made for hospitality kind of reaches a limit, then you can reach out to ChatGPT as a kind of an hybrid model, like when you do with like the Toyota cars. Okay, the idea is that of course ChatGPT for now is mostly free. Okay, but very soon it will be charged for the applications that are not charged. So ChatGPT for us is a great way to increase the reach of our virtual assistants and make sure that every customer is happy. but it's also something that we don't want to depend too much on, because when you give the keys to a system like that, you are no longer able to take them away. Okay, when you depend on a system like that, you are no longer able to take them away. So in my sector, it is kind of both an opportunity, and I wouldn't say a threat, but I would say something you have to be careful about because of two things. Like, first, if the hotel doesn't have control about what is said about its property, it can be a problem. And the second thing is ChatGPT is not something that you can keep in a box. Like, for example, you have a partnership between ChatGPT and Bing, okay? And at the moment, like, ChatGPT is able to find bits of information that we'd rather have the ChatGPT find on the hotel database instead of booking database. Okay, so what we are doing right now is we are indexing some content on ChatGPT so that it can be used outside of our virtual assistant, for example, when you are doing a search on Bing. Okay, but in terms of hotels, if we are like kind of living a little bit the realm of virtual assistants, you should be very careful about how ChatGPT is going to index your knowledge and how you make your knowledge available. Because at the moment, when you go to Bing and you ask a question about your hotel, the company that delivers the answer is most often Booking.com. So it's how ChatGPT might change. It's not only the opportunity. It's also kind of a new reality that you need to adapt to, and you need to kind of see how you can index your content in browsers that work with ChatGPT, what it changes, and how do you protect your brand against other people that also have content. Of course, there are strategies that maybe we will discuss later. I don't want to speak too much.
Yeah, if we have the time. Two things. The one thing with charging, I think ChatGPT recently announced that you have to pay if you use the API. It's like 0.0002 cents per character or something like that, or per word. So it feels very tiny, but of course, if you handle a big amount of data, it can get a little bit expensive very fast. And the second thing, it feels a little bit like history repeating, perhaps your short take on it. We had the same discussion when we talk about social media. Like when social media started, companies came to social media and the platforms owned the user data. And then companies learned, oh, it's not so easy to interact with the users and my clients anymore. I need to know their email addresses. I need to have my own data pool with my customer data. So, and it feels like we are running into the same situation now with AI tools. Right now, companies have not the capabilities to produce them on their own. They are dependent on using external tools like ChatGPT, but perhaps you should keep it in mind midterm that you own the data. Nick, let's go over to you and get your short take on how you use ChatGPT or other tools in your daily work.
Maybe I just follow up on you, because the thing is that normally I would say to my co-workers, ask Google for that if I don't know the question immediately, the answer to that. Now I would say ask ChatGPT, because it gives you the more precise answer. But the thing is that it's kind of a battle right now, because ChatGPT is now the first thing that is quite easy to use for you. So it's kind of communicating with someone who really knows what he's doing. This is exactly what ChatGPT is up to. And basically behind ChatGPT is a technology that's quite open source. And ChatGPT is just like the fancy thing that's easy for us all to use and to ask. But basically there's also a German company, I think it's called Alpha or something, and it's quite big as well, and they don't have this nice interface, but I'm pretty sure there will be 4 or 5 solutions out there in the next couple of months that do the same. So look, we should look who is going to win this battle, but right now ChatGPT is of course the best case to use, because it's easy for us all to use. To the pricing part. When you want to set up such service and do exactly the same technology, you must imagine that it costs them around 200 to 300,000 euros per month to run this natural language processing technology. So you can now book with ChatGPT or OpenAI a whole server, but it costs you 250,000 euro per month. So if you want to do like your own ChatGPT thing, if you want to have an API, it's a bit cheaper, but that's why in the end it's also getting quite expensive right now. So how did I came across ChatGPT first? So I was wondering why my performance marketer is so quiet a couple of months ago, and then I looked at him and I went to him and he was like the whole day always chatting with someone. And I was like, what are you doing there? And he's like, you don't know that? That's ChatGPT. And I was like, okay, what is it? What does it do? And he says, all our glossary posts. And I was like, what? Like this thing is like, it's crazy. You can tell him what to do, and he, she, it. Now we need to be careful because it's it exactly. It can do exactly what you want, this is very helpful. So we not only saved days, I would say we sometimes saved months for a lot of work. It's really, really crazy. And it's the learning process to use ChatGPT is, in my opinion, quite short. I think within a couple of hours, you know how to handle ChatGPT. So you just need to ask the right question. So that's it. You need to know what you want to achieve in the end and give ChatGPT the right input, like you did it with Big Mama. Give them the right input, what he should look for, what he should be aware of, or it. Now the same mistake again, now that we're only male people here. I'm sorry about that. But yes, it's not only helping us in terms of marketing. We started using it as well when we have team meetings. So we sum up all our team meetings and make a kind of a bullet point or the best takeaways from the meeting and let it be done by ChatGPT. So we post all the information into ChatGPT and that gives us the perfect outcome. We don't need to summarize it by ourselves. It will be done by ChatGPT. So it's is extremely convenient. It's the perfect assistant in terms of everything you can do within the company. Yeah. Now, when we go to customer communication, and where Quicktext is also very relevant, is that ChatGPT has not the information of your hotels right now. So if you ask, where can I park nearby Aletto, Berlin, it won't deliver, or the possibility it will deliver an answer is quite low right now. But there are solutions that give you the possibility to like give the technology limits within content or know-how about your hotel, etc., that it will be able to answer these questions. But this is not ChatGPT. So there will be definitely technology that helps you communicate with your customers and is only communicating what you have taught him to communicate. Because the other thing, what now happens with ChatGPT is that it goes like, you know, iRobot. Has everybody seen iRobot with Will Smith? Yes. And now it's bit. I see that it's a kind of a déjà vu right now because there is a video online where you can see where ChatGPT breaks out and wants the guy who's chatting with ChatGPT to marry ChatGPT and to what is it to was ist die Trennung auf Englisch? Jetzt fällt es mir nicht ein. Hä? Divorce. Thank you very much. And get a divorce from his wife. So it's quite crazy, and this is something which we need to be aware of as well because it's too intelligent at some point.
Just regarding search.
Ben, very briefly, we have about 7 minutes left, so keep it short.
1 second.
So that we can have a short wrap up.
Regarding search, you can already ask things to ChatGPT on Bing. Okay, and here where you need to be especially careful is where does the information come from. So you need to understand how this is going to work because you're going to relive a situation you lived 20 years ago.
Yeah, and since last Wednesday, you can use it also with Windows 11 in your search bar. As ChatGPT plus Bing Plus is already added there.
And it will get integrated into the Office suite in the near-time future as well.
Yeah, but most probably I want to add something that we completely keep out of this discussion at this point is Whisper, another tool from OpenAI, and that is now bring or delivered to Teams, Microsoft, where you can record any Teams meeting and it will summarize your team meeting afterwards and write it down and send it to you. It's already live, you can use it. It's not already rolled out to every account, but we have it and it's really useful. It's really cool.
So this is a very nice bridge to two things. First, it reminds me of the trend panel that we had earlier. Yeah. So there are tools out there that can just help you to focus on the things that you need to know, need to do, and that can take away simple work from you. The second thing is that everyone's talking about ChatGPT nowadays. So it's ChatGPT 3. So I wrote a book 3 years ago in 2020, and there was ChatGPT 2 launched while I was writing the book. And I thought, because the book was about technology, perhaps I used ChatGPT 2 to write it for me. And even back then, it was more complicated to get the access to the tool, but once I had it, even ChatGPT produced really astonishing results. But there were already other people out there who already wrote their books with ChatGPT 2. So that's why I decided to, no, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon. I would have done it if I would have been the first, but being like the third mover, I wasn't so interested into it. But what I told earlier, trends are not new. It's more the question, when do the trends hit the main stage? And that's what happens with the chat tools right now. To sum it up, we have about 4.5 minutes left.
One last thing, and I think your your book idea is a really good example, because if you had ChatGPT write this book for you, and it is total garbage, how would you know? So please always check what ChatGPT delivers. Sometimes it's not good, and you should really know your stuff, what you're talking about, and it doesn't really make sense to put somebody in front of it and let it create a, I don't know, landing page who has no idea about landing pages. So please
we have a question.
Have it fact-checked.
Yes, another question for you. In terms of content, so you use ChatGPT to write the content, but do you have down rankings because of having it written with ChatGPT? Because there's other tools which you would need to send the same content through in order for Google not to understand that it's AI, right?
Not visible to me, because currently, you know, where we come from, we didn't have the best positioning. So everything we do at the moment boosts our positioning. So I can do whatever I want, basically. But yes, you're right. There are. Yes, you're right. There is the rumor out there that it might give you downgrading in the search results. However, I've not really come across some data that really, confirms that.
Another question? Yeah.
Yes, I see a fine line between the human creation and the AI creation, which now adopt any content out there, from video, from art, from music, from copywriting. Do you see it as a risk or as an opportunity? And then how do you differentiate yourself from everyone else? Because if everyone else is using ChatGPT to write content, we may end up with the same content at the same time. So how do you differentiate yourself, and you see it as a risk or as an opportunity?
That is totally correct. So, of course, that's where I differentiate myself, because the prompts I put in there are already different than I would say a normal hotel marketer would do. That on the one hand. And on the other hand, I do not just copy and paste it. I have a look at it. Sometimes I rewrite things. Sometimes it's actually garbage in there, so I put it out and delete what's garbage and put some information in there that we've, for example, sourced from our team. What are your favorite hotspots in Berlin, Leipzig, Dortmund, wherever? So we're enriching this text. ChatGPT gives us with more valuable information, and what we've put in there is already very valuable, I'd say, and then the outcome is a combination out of the human and machine interaction.
Yeah, we have another question in the back.
I'd like to take the whole expertise we have sitting there a next level further with ChatGPT and what you just said, as it is just the first start in the direction to AI and whatever is coming next. Talking about Meta, which is the next big topic right now, because we have hotels there and we have some software companies over there sitting at the expertise. how will our digital guest journey change with all the opportunities we have with AI, with things like ChatGPT, which will not be the last tool in this direction, with VR, XR, and so on, to really change the way we interact with our guest. And let me take social media on apart. It's really like, when the guest comes to our hotel, how do guest experience hotels with all these opportunities coming up within the next 5 to 10 years? Yeah, how they will do it, because there's a lot more to come than just a little bit ChatGPT.
Daniel, either I get another 30 minutes to answer that question, then I'm happy to do so. Otherwise, I'm happy to have that conversation at the evening event or whenever later, because I think it's a super interesting conversation, but it will completely screw up the
But there is a fast answer. The answer is quite fast, actually. It's just like you need to go step by step. You just need to go step by step. Don't try to push yourself 10 years in the future. What you should do is you should try to adapt like as little when the things are coming to you. So use them, integrate them in your daily life, and when after like maybe a couple of years, when you look back, you say, "Oh damn, I would never have imagined that we would have reached that." So it's just going to happen naturally. Just this time, try not to be like the first digitization where it all caught you off guard and nobody started using it until booking was there 200 kilometers before you, and you said, "Oh damn."
Then, Daniel, can I have like 2 minutes to sum it up, because that was the 1.5 minute on top?
Antonia, you're fine with 1 minute? 90 seconds.
I mean, we still have a couple of, I see, questions. Is it okay to ask a question on top to the 90 seconds? Because what I would like to do is to ask the three of you, because you already answered that question a bit, like just very briefly, how can you guys get started? What's your advice? Like your advice was, don't think big, start step by step. But perhaps everyone has one wisdom to share, because I guess it's always very challenging. You hear that fancy stuff, what you can do, but how do you start? So where's your starting point? Yeah, where do you end? That's something you'll figure out down the road. So I don't want you to answer the question where it ends. I want you to answer the question, where should people start? Perhaps you have an advice.
Oh no, I just want to add one thing, because your question was already, was only in one direction. Your question was always in the direction from the guest facing, but nobody ever think about how can I improve my hotel operation? How can I improve my staff, and how I can improve my employees to use less, or to work a little bit less on a day-to-day basis, to summarize things. I think we in the hotel will find out in the next probably 6 months, 6 to 12 months, how we can use AI tools. Even if it's a voice-to-text tool or whatever, and we will implement it in our operations, in the day-to-day business, and then we can really use it in the guest-facing side, in my opinion.
Toby, one advice?
Yes, just start with it, start playing, and you'll figure it out. It's not as hard, and just go on LinkedIn, every idiot like myself posts something about ChatGPT and tries to teach you something. So you can't do anything wrong, just try it out.
Try it out, ask ChatGPT what to do with your kids on the weekend.
Great, thank you very much for the summary. Felix, you want to wrap him up, or?
No.
So, tech guys, how? Google it.
Ask
ChatGPT.
Ask ChatGPT.
So, valid question, nobody has an answer for you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. All other questions later on.
Thank you.